Oh, November the 5th already. Well, it's edging towards the end of the year, a time when Forbes magazine publishes its traditional annual list of the world's most powerful people. And as President Obama finishes his second term in office, he drops to number 3 on the list, if you're watching, giving second place this year to German Chancellor Angela Merkel, often in the news. But number 1, it seems, for most talked about influential person for a third year in a row is Russian President Vladimir Putin. Artie's Ganichichikan goes behind the cover page.
According to Forbes, Vladimir Putin has been the most powerful person in the world for 3 years in a row. Before that, it was Barack Obama for 2 years in a row. But to be at the top of that list is not necessarily a compliment. Here in the United States, the Russian president is viewed in a negative light more than anything. Covers of many newspapers and magazines reflect that.
In the West, if you look at American magazines, it's basically negative. If you look at the English press, it's basically negative. But from the view of politics, from the view of name recognition, Vladimir Putin is number 1 because he's the one who's been in the news all the time. He outmaneuvered the Americans over Syria.
His impact on global crises is being watched closely.
Putin having stamped his mark on the battlefield here with jets.
The Syrian dictator traveled out of Syria to visit Moscow to thank Vladimir Putin for bombing his enemies.
White House and NATO officials tell CNN they're concerned that Vladimir Putin and his army are violating their ceasefire agreement with Ukraine.
But Vladimir Putin is not only in news programs, but also in entertainment shows.
I still don't trust the Russians, especially under Vladimir Putin. He is a ruthless dictator who wants to destroy America. Please come on the show, sir. Okay, it's sweeps. Bring the kitty cat, too.
The Russian president certainly does not hide where he disagrees with U.S. policies. Neither do American officials. Many disapprove of him, but few doubt that he's having an impact on some of the world's most pressing issues. In Washington, I'm Ganichichikan, RT.
Leaders of China and its breakaway province Taiwan have arranged an unprecedented meeting aimed at further normalizing their relations. It'll be the first since the Chinese Civil War ended in 1949, then, prompting the formation of the current Chinese and Taiwanese states. The meeting will take place in Singapore. The neighbours still claim sovereignty over each other, and the leaders will drop their official presidential titles and will address each other as Mr. during the meeting. Let's check out some of the world news stories. At least 18 people have been killed, dozens injured too, after a factory collapsed in Lahore in Pakistan. Over 150 people were trapped there. Real mess, as you can see. That building was undergoing construction work at the time. Hundreds of people were working in the structure when it fell down. Rescue workers are continuing to look for survivors. Thousands of Iranians have been celebrating 36 years since a group of students stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. Crowds marched through the streets of the capital on Wednesday, chanting anti-American slogans and burning the U.S. flag. The 1979 embassy takeover led to a hostage crisis lasting more than 400 days and prompted the U.S. to sever ties with Iran. Protesters in Spain have rallied against NATO on the ongoing Trident juncture drills in the Mediterranean and Atlantic. The information centre for the exercise is based in the Spanish city of Zaragoza, despite opposition from locals. Protesters formed a human chain at the entrance to the alliance's office there. An anti-NATO protest has also been staged in Bulgaria too, in front of the US embassy there. The demonstrators want the alliance's troops out of the country and called on the government to leave NATO completely. Great programmes lined up for you for the rest of today. Our next one is this. The multiplication of conflicts and geopolitical tensions in recent years has been driving a number of regional arms races. Tackling that, the Negara boycott next. After the break, talks to the head of a Russian weapons exporter to get their take on it.